Okay, so in the last session, we used actually the predefined Bootstrap classes and using CDN, Content Delivery Network. We are just downloading the library into the web page. Okay, then we applied styles with the div, both with container and container flex. We have seen examples yesterday, how they behave with different screens. Okay, even you can create like what we have done in the last session. You can post into your pythonanywhere.com and you can render on different types of devices if they are available. With a tablet, you can try. With a mobile phone, you can try. With even browser, you can try, like desktop browser. With that, you can try, and you can see the differences. How versatile Bootstrap is, you can understand. Okay, so I request you to practice today more and more on the Bootstrap with container, similarly container flex, and other thing is like using row style, column style. In the column again, go with actually Excel, sorry, XS, then similarly like small, then medium, then large, extra large. With that, you try to see how do you get results. What are the various breakpoints? Again, revive that. So it is more and more practice, not just hearing and understanding. Okay, you have to practice more and more. Then in such cases, you understand well about how all these things work. Okay, so you have to practice a lot. There is no, a shortcut. Without practicing, definitely you cannot feel yourself confident. So I request you to practice more and more. Today I introduce the JavaScript. What exactly JavaScript? Because we are going to rely very much on the JavaScript language. Particularly when you work with the React.js, you have to be good with the JavaScript, also with the TypeScript. Okay, so TypeScript is what? It is superset of JavaScript. It's superset of JavaScript actually. Whenever you write some code in the TypeScript, you can compile that into JavaScript using TypeScript transpiler. The other day we were discussing about actually interpretation, compilation, transpilation. So Babel, similarly, TypeScript compiler, they convert the TypeScript into like JavaScript. They are transpilers from one language to another language. Actually, they translate. Whereas compilers and interpreters, they convert into object code. Fine. So today we work with the JavaScript. How? What are the basic elements of JavaScript? You take any language. JavaScript is also nothing but a programming language, but this is a scripting language. Okay, it's a scripting language and JavaScript is embedded within the browser. Always it works with the browser and also sometimes with the PDF files. Okay, even these days we have server-side scripting with JavaScript, that is with the Node.js. Using V8 engine, it works. Even the Chrome also uses V8 engine for rendering actually HTML content. Okay, so JavaScript first of all is a scripting language. It is what exactly? It is a scripting language. And other thing is it is a dynamically typed language. When compared with like Java, C++, C Sharp, they are statically typed languages. Without declaring a variable, you cannot use it. When you declare a variable, you need to associate the variable with certain type of data. Except in few cases, most of the time with the Java, with the C Sharp, with the C++, we have types already predefined. Data types are predefined, of course. In your code also variables are going to have actually, predefined types only. Dynamically always you may not get data. Okay, so JavaScript is what? Dynamically typed language and it is loosely typed language. Okay. And one more thing is what it's a case sensitive language. It does differentiate between uppercase and lowercase. A language like VBA, VB script, or say VB language, they are not case sensitive languages. Okay, they are not case sensitive. They do not differentiate between uppercase and lowercase. Even SQL you take, normal structured query language, we use different types of languages. Like when you work with the PostgreSQL, we use PGPL Similarly, when you work with Oracle, we use PLSQL. When we work with SQL, SQL Server, we use TSQL. So they are actually database languages. With the help of that, we interact with the database. Even they are not case sensitive, unless they use a collation called, okay, case sensitive. With collation, we use case sensitive. In such case, they differentiate between uppercase and lowercase. Otherwise, they are going to be case insensitive, just like VB language. Okay, JavaScript is dynamically typed language and it is what loosely typed language. One more thing is case sensitive this is. That means it does differentiate between uppercase and lowercase. Okay, where do we write then JavaScript code? Within the HTML page, we write between the script tags. Between the starting and closing tag of the script, we write the JavaScript. Okay, whenever you look at any language, as we discussed earlier, you have tokens. Using tokens, we build a statement. Okay, grammatically, when that statement is correct, in such cases, the JavaScript compiler can compile that and can convert that into machine understandable format. Otherwise, it cannot do. So first of all, you need to create tokens properly. I mean, first of all, you need to create words properly. Then using those words, you need to create the required statement. In normal English, we call words and sentences, but in computer programming language, we call it as tokens and next thing is statement. For example, I write something like this, where x. Now x equal to, I can write 10. Now this is valid. If I go here and write console.log, followed by here x, when x gets printed. In the browser, you can go to developer tools. From there, you can go to console. In the console, you can see. This is for debugging purpose we use. Okay, for debugging purpose, we can use, instead of using alerts, you can use alert. Alert actually gives you pop-up window. It is going to be a little bit disturbing for us. Instead of that, you can use console.log. On the console window, in the console section of the like developer tools window, it is going to be printing for you whatever you specify there. So we use console.log, console.table, console.alert. For unit testing purpose, we use console.assert, sorry, not alert, console.assert. Okay, so we use those things and we write the code, we debug, we understand how the JavaScript works. What code you write between the script tags here, starting tag and closing tag, this is called as a script element. And I have defined here a variable where x, there is no data associated in this case. Okay, now this is called as here undefined. Okay, so where x I have defined here, there is no data in that. So that's why we call this as here now undefined. There is no data associated with that. When you put here x equal to null, this is called as here null value. This is called as here null value. Okay, now when you see here, I have defined where x equal to null and x equal to 10. So what is happening here? The type is changing. There is no problem. Next, x equal to even, you can write it as ABC. So that's why I call this as a loosely typed language. It's not strongly typed language. So sometimes you can assign number, sometimes you can assign string, sometimes you can assign date. Whatever type of data you want to assign, you can assign that. So depending on the data, the type is going to be inferred here. Type gets inferred depending on the type of the data. Okay, using where keyword, you can create a variable, and using const, you can create a constant. Constant P you write here. So using constant keyword, you can define here a, a constant value. Constant value cannot be modified. If you try to modify, you cannot modify that because it is a constant value. Whereas X value can be modified n number of times because this is a variable. First one is a constant. Second thing is what exactly? Variable. Variable value can be modified. Okay. So using tokens, you create the statements, and those statements one after another you execute. That is called as a program. Now let us try to write here some code with the JavaScript. Okay, let me start here. Okay, then here Bootstrap examples, and in this I can create here. Okay, I selected this folder, and in this I would like to create here some HTML page with the JavaScript. Okay, otherwise I can use the same thing. In the same thing also, I can do the required thing. Okay, I have here something like this document type declaration. This is HTML document. And I have here a head section. In the head section, first of all, a title I am defining. Then this I am using for the purpose of making this actually a responsive design. That means this page can render on different types of devices. Can be mobile phone, a tablet, or it can be desktop, or it can be something like laptop. It can be any kind of device. It's going to be rendering without losing actually content. It's going to be getting resized on the given device automatically. Then I have defined few styles here. This is called as CSS, and this type of styling is called as here internal CSS, because within the same document I'm defining style. So this is called as internal styling. In contrast to that, here I have taken the div, and here I'm defining style. This is called as here inline style. Okay, this is called as here inline style. So inline style is applicable to only to that particular element, whereas internal style you can apply in the same document in n number of places. With n number of elements, you can apply the same style. Okay, when you go with the external style sheet, you define styles in a different file, and you are going to be referring them here. So basically, this is called as your CSS. The very first importance is given to inline. Precedence, I say, if inline is not available, it looks for internal. If internal is not available, it looks for external. If that is not available, automatically it's going to apply the default styles. So this all we know. Now let me create here some script. So I can create here some script block, and in this I can write the JavaScript code. Put here script, then here I can define the required JavaScript. Okay, now I just want to print something here using console. Okay, so console is part of actually developer tools. Developers can debug with the help of the console. Normally, what is happening with the code, we use alerts, but using alerts is a bad practice. Okay, so what I do here, I can just go with the console, then here console dot, I go here with the like log. Then here I want to print welcome to JavaScript. Okay, at the end, this is optional. If you want to put semicolon, you can put, otherwise you can omit it. Even if you omit, there is no problem. Okay, but normally language like C# or C++ or Java, they need actually semicolon. Okay, but when you work with Python, if you press enter key, that is sufficient. In the case of JavaScript, if you press simply enter key here, automatically it is going to be embedding. It's going to be embedding semicolon automatically. Okay, so the environment is going to embed before it comes for compilation. Automatically, it's going to embed, but it is not visible for us. Okay, so here I'm writing console.log, welcome to JavaScript. Now let me render this. This is what exactly third. So I just go to concerned folder here. This is Bootstrap examples. And in this, I go here with the third.html. I render this here. When I render, it's looking something like this. You can see one image, one GIF file is coming up here. Another one is this JavaScript. When I resize it, what happens? Let us see. Automatically, they are getting resized. We are not losing any content in this case here. Okay, now how the JavaScript is working, let us see, because we have written console.log. Okay, go to this then, more tools, in the developer tools part, here it is printing. So this is console part. If you go here, you can find all the elements here. Whatever HTML elements you have, you can see them here. And when you come to console, here it's printing, welcome to JavaScript. We have written here console, welcome to JavaScript. Instead of going with the console.log, even you can go with the alert here like this. Welcome to JavaScript. I put like this. Okay, so what will happen in such cases now? Just see this. Okay, just here, refresh this one here. Immediately it's saying here, welcome to JavaScript. Okay, welcome to JavaScript. Even though it is loaded, entire content, immediately it will not render, it takes time to render. Okay, what is happening exactly? Here all the things are getting loaded into memory, but JavaScript is going to fire immediately because for rendering it takes time. Rendering is nothing but showing on the screen, it takes time. Okay, loading is different, rendering is different. Whenever it's loading, whenever it's getting loaded, it's going to be parsed. Then after that, rendering engine comes into scene and it's going to render. But this is what execution of code, immediately this gets executed. Okay, from top to bottom, this is going to be loaded. From here, it starts and trying to load into computer memory, I mean browser. Then after that, the browser is going to be rendering depending on the view engine. We have rendering engines and view engines. Okay, so I mean, whenever you go with the Google, so Google is using here a Blink rendering engine. It's called as rendering engine. Blink, it's using with the help of that, this gets rendered. Whenever you look at actually like Edge or Internet Explorer, they use Trident engine. With the help of that, that gets loaded. They are rendering engines. Simply, they don't come into screen. A lot of code is written, so a lot of effort is required. Then only that gets rendered. So further, they are using different types of rendering engines. With that, they get rendered. But Chrome is using here for us, like just now I told, Blink. With the help of Blink, it is loading actually. It is rendering image on the screen. Okay, so this is exactly what it is. Alert. It is going to be showing as a pop-up window for us. Once again, if I refresh, it pops up some window. This doesn't look nice always. Sometimes this creates a lot of nuisance. Instead of that, we can go with the console.log, and with the help of that, we can see what is happening exactly. So for debugging purpose, normally we use the console.log. Okay, we use console.log. With the help of that, we can print on the console window. Okay, now this is exactly what this is the script block. Inside this, you can write the JavaScript code. So let me comment here. JavaScript uses commenting. I mean, commenting is very much required because that improves the readability of the code. Whenever you put comments, when somebody is going through your code, they can easily understand why the code is written, the purpose of code they understand. If you put comments in the proper manner. Okay, so why you have defined that piece of code, what is the necessity of that code, they can easily understand. If any modification is required, or yeah, in such case, they can easily understand if you put proper comments. So commenting is going to be very important in any coding actually. Okay, so commenting definitely you need to put. So in JavaScript, you can go with comments in two different ways. One is what multi-line comment. So this is what exactly, it's a multi-line comment. Multi-line comment. Okay, then similarly, here you can do, and this is what single line comment. So this is called as here single line comment. And apart from this, here it uses template strings. Okay, before I go into that, let me tell you here what type of data normally the JavaScript uses. In JavaScript, you have like data types, numbers, Boolean, that means true or false, Booleans. Okay. Similarly, you have strings, you have null type of data. These are primitives. These are called as primitive type of data. Number is primitive, Boolean is also primitive, string is also primitive. You can think like that. Then you have null. Then after that, you have object type of data. You have array type of data, arrays. Okay, so these two can be called as actually reference type of data or object type of data. Okay, so whenever you declare any variable, normally they can be like value types or they can be reference types. You have two types of data. One is normal, one is actually value type, other one is reference type. Okay, so the difference between value type and reference type is, for example, I write here where some x equal to 100 I put. Similarly, I write here where y equal to, in this manner, I'm defining something. Okay, name, colon, apple. Okay, then followed by here, I write age. I put something like here some 16. So this is called as here an object. This is called as an object where y equal to, now we can call this as actually object type of data. But this is what type of data? Number type of data. Okay, now let me show you diagrammatically what happens in this case. I go to paint here. In the paint, I want to draw. Okay, I just want to make bigger image. Okay, so I use here some text box like this. Then I want to draw. Okay, so here in this case, this is exactly what this is X, I say. Okay, bigger length is much bigger actually. Sorry, this is cannot do once I create, I cannot do anything in this case. I cut it completely. Otherwise, it is being drawn actually. I need to go with the selection. With selection, I should do this. I can delete it now. That is okay. So first thing is here. Font size is too big actually. I can make it something like 11. So therefore, it looks better. It looks simple. Here x I have declared. Variable is x equal to, when I put 10 here, something like this I'm keeping here. So what happens exactly? It's going to create some location. So its address may be like in this case, inside the memory, you have some address. Okay, address equal to say some 10,000. And in this 10,000 only, what happens? Value you have, value equal to like 10, it's getting saved. That means in the same location, the value is getting saved. Wherever you declare variable, in that only you save the value. So this is called as value type. In contrast to this, I have declared here another variable. That is exactly what y equal to name apple, age 16. Okay. So if I declare here y, this variable, okay, this may be getting located, location may be at some 20,000 location. Okay, location is 20,000. So this is going to point to some other location. From here, it's pointing to some other location. So in that location, you have the data. You have data. Sorry, not this. You have data in the other location. Okay, so in this location, what happens? You have data. So in this, what we have this particular data. What is the data exactly? Name equal to apple, age equal to 16 you have here. This has an address and this is also having an address. So 20,000 is pointing to this particular location. So such things are called as actually object types of data. This is called as value type and this is called as here object types. Okay, this is called as here object type. In object type, you have a reference variable. This is referring some other location. In that location, you have the data. But when you go with the value type, wherever you declare variable, in whatever location the variable, whatever location the variable has, in the same location only, you have the corresponding data. But here in this case, data is not in the same location. So this reference variable y is referring some other location. Okay, in the other location, you have the actual value. Such things are called as actually reference types, and this is called as your value type. It is something similar to pointers in the C language. In the C and C++, we have a concept called pointers. So just like pointers, this is okay. So drawing with actually paint is little difficult, but I try to put here again. So here in this case, location, okay, some 50,000. What is happening exactly? Now, y is referring location 50,000 in this case. Y is referring 50,000 location. In the 50,000 location, you have data. So all these are nothing but arbitrary values have taken. They are not the exact values and we don't have any control over them. So that is handled by underlying application like your browser application and the OS. They are responsible for, allocating all those things. Depending on the memory availability, they are going to allocate for you those things. Okay, so all these are nothing but some arbitrary values I am specifying here. Okay, just for the sake of example, I am saying this. The above one address is 10,000. In the 10,000 address, you have a value 10. But if you go with the y variable, it is actually located in the 20,000 and that is referring internally 50,000 location. In the 50,000 location, you can find these values. Example, this is name, apple and age you are getting in that location. So such variables are called as actually reference type of variables. And the first one is here what? It is a value type. And this is here reference type and this is value type. X is a value type, Y is a reference type. So reference type of variables, they refer some other location. They are going to refer some other location. Okay. So now whenever you work with the JavaScript, you have here primitives like numbers, boolean, strings, null. And whenever you work with the, reference type of data, object you have, arrays you have, one is here date. So these three are available with the reference types of data. Object meaning is what here? Whatever user is defining, that can be like an object. In this manner, whenever a user is defining, so that is called as an object. Okay. Similarly, arrays is nothing but it is aggregate homogeneous type of data. When you go with the date, date is nothing but aggregate type of data only, but dissimilar types of data you have in the date. So date is also treated like actually object. Okay, so you can define your own object or type, or you can use the existing types. Date is actually one such thing. But these are what here primitive types, numbers, boolean, string, null. So numbers again, they are going to be like fixed numbers, or they can be approximate numbers, or absolute numbers and approximate numbers. Integers are absolute, whereas floating data like 22 by 7 or 10 by 3, 10 by 6, they are called as approximate numbers. And when we talk about booleans, booleans are going to be either true or false values. Okay, strings are nothing but it is actually a group of characters, one after another they are arranged, that can be called as a string. And you are going to have them in the single quote or in double quotes. The JavaScript supports both single quote as well as double quotes. And null is what exactly? Null meaning is what? No value. That means null is actually missing value. Null meaning itself is what? It is a missing value. Similarly, as I told you, whenever you declare something like this, where some m, here you declared a variable, but no value have associated with that, not even null. So that means what? It's undefined. That's called as actually undefined. Where m when you have, so that is going to be undefined. But when you assign here a null value to this, this is going to contain here a null value. That means what? Missing value. So like this, you are going to be handling the data. Data can be number format, or it can be true or false, or it can be strings, it can be null value. Similarly, it can be object type of data, it can be arrays, or it can be date. So this way you are going to be handling the data. So whatever code you write, it's basically for processing the data. Ultimately, you have to process the data. So for processing data, we use the instructions. Okay. So always data is very, very important. Whatever type of code you write, whatever hardware you may use, ultimately for processing data and to make the data persisting. That means getting saved for future purpose. And when you want to retrieve the data, you can retrieve. For that purpose, we use the database or data. So data is going to be very, very important. Okay. So data is going to be very important. So without data, you cannot do anything. So that's why a lot of importance is given to data. Suppose hardware is getting damaged, you can buy new piece of hardware. Okay, suppose your program is corrupt, you can develop new program, but once you lose data, you cannot get back. So data is going to be given utmost importance. Data must not be getting corrupted. So data you should retrieve in the, within less time you have to retrieve data. So you have to maintain the integrity of data. So for that purpose, you must design data in the proper manner. Okay, so ultimately data is going to be here very important. Whatever program you write, whatever hardware you use. So just to process the data only. So data is the utmost important thing whenever you go with any programming. Whatever type of things you take, data is going to be very, very important. So we write program, after all, we write programs and hardware for what purpose? To process data only. So without data, there is no meaning in that case. Fine. So you can categorize like numbers, booleans, strings, null, or it can be dates, or it can be arrays, or it can be objects. In that manner, you can treat data. Okay, now let us write actually some piece of code. Okay, and whenever you work with any programming language, you deal actually with the operators. As we know, there are different types of tokens like identifiers. Okay, identifiers. Then you have here keywords, then operators, we have separators. Then we have constants. So these are called as tokens. As we know, identifier is a user invented word. For example, take var m. Var m is, in that case, m is what? M is an identifier. Okay. You may define a function. Function name is nothing but identifier, that is. You may define a constant. Constant can be identifier. Identifier is the word which is invented by user. Whenever you want to go for any identifier, you need to follow some naming convention. And there are like very first character of the identifier must be either alphabet or an underscore. You can use any of those two things only as the very first character or starting character. Followed by, you can use another underscore or other alphabet or digit. There is no limitation on length of the length of the name, length of the identifier name. Always identifiers have to start with the alphabet or with the underscore. Any one of them you can use. But after first character, you can repeat with any alphabet or with underscore or with a digit. Any of them you can use. Okay, so identifiers, whenever you create identifier, you need to remember that very first letter must be an underscore or it can be an alphabet. If you try to use digit or something as a very first character, it will not accept. It gives error. Okay, similarly keywords. Keywords are reserved words. Something like where. When you take where is a keyword which has a predefined meaning. For your own purpose, you cannot use where keyword. If you try to use, it will not accept. So where is therefore what? It's a keyword. In English, like helping verbs you take is, was, have, has. So they are called as here helping verbs. In the same manner, here keywords you can compare with the like such things like helping verbs or personal pronouns in the English. You can compare with them. Roughly, you can compare with them. So keywords have a predefined meaning. For the intended purpose, you have to use keyword. For your own purpose, you cannot use keyword. If you try to use the JavaScript does not work, it actually offends, it gives actually exceptions. So therefore, don't use like here the predefined keywords for your own purpose. For the sake of defining variables or constants or your own identifiers, don't use the predefined keywords. Then we have operators. Operators are basically functions only. Okay, they are nothing but internally functions. They perform certain operation. Like you have different types of operators. Okay, you have different types of operators like arithmetic. Okay, arithmetic you have. Then we have relational. Then logical. Okay, sorry, logical. Fine. Then you have here increment, decrement. Equality, inequality. Okay, shift operators. Similarly, bitwise. All these are going to be various types of operators we use. Ternary operator. Okay, we can use different types of operators depending on the requirement. So when you go with arithmetic, normally you have here like plus, then minus, then multiplication, then you have division, then followed by remainder. So these are called as arithmetic operators. Plus for addition, minus for subtraction, star for multiplication, slash for division, and percent for actually what? Finding the remainder. Let us try to write some piece of code now to achieve this. Okay, we go here, then try to define a function. In this, I want to define a function here. Define a function. Here, write function followed by add. Okay, go here with the add followed by numbers. Then write here a comma b. Like this, you need to write here. And these are called as actually formal parameters. When you define a variable, these are formal. Every time when you invoke the function need not be same a and b. It can be anything different. So they are called as actual parameters, but now this is called as here formal parameters, a and b. Okay, a and b, this is. Now here, in this case, I want to go here and return a plus b. This is going to be returning a added with the b. Okay. Similarly, I can go here with another type of function in this manner. Here it is multiply numbers. Multiply numbers. And this is here return a multiplied with b. You are multiplying a and b in this case. In the first case, you are adding. In the second case, you are multiplying. Now to invoke the function, you can invoke like this. You can invoke in this manner. Console.log you can write, followed by here. You can go with the add numbers. Then here you can give 2 comma 3. This should print for us 5, or else the value of the function you can assign to some variable like where here c equal to, we go with the add numbers, then write here 2 comma 3. Like this also you can use. Sorry. Okay, so here add numbers, then followed by here you can give a different set of values 4 comma 5, or else you can define like this where x equal to some 20. Okay, where some y equal to some 30, followed by here you can write again where some d equal to, you define like this here, add numbers x comma y. You can go here and type x comma y. In either of the ways you can do it. So here formal names are what here a b, and here actual names are what exactly x comma y. So these are called as actually here actual parameters, and this is called as here formal parameters. Formally you require some placeholders. We specified that as a comma b. Okay, so like this I'm invoking. This is called as function definition, and this is called as here function invocation. I'm invoking function. Here in this console.log, add numbers 2, 3, immediately the value is getting printed. Nowhere we save the value. But when you go here in this C equal to add numbers 4, 5, what exactly it is doing? It is adding the numbers and returning the value to C here. Okay, and similarly here also it is happening. Once again, if you revisit the function add numbers a comma b, return we are saying, return a plus b. So return meaning is what here? The function has to send back the value to calling area. Okay, from wherever that's called actually, to that it has to return a value here. So this is the function definition. It's returning here a plus b. When value is returned, whatever value the function is giving you, that can be held in a variable here. So I'm trying to put into C here. Add numbers 4, 5. And in this case, I go with the add numbers x, y. Okay. So like this, I defined a function and I'm calling them. And here I'm using the arithmetic operator in the first case, plus in the second case, multiplication symbol. Okay, in the first case, I use a plus symbol. In the next case, I'm using here a multiplication symbol. So first one is for adding numbers. Second thing is for multiplying the numbers. And this is what kind of operator plus is? This is a binary operator. Exactly, that is what it's a binary operator because this is using here two operands. A is one operand and B is another operand. When you go here in this case, you use a star. This is also nothing but binary because it's using here two operands A and B. So this is arithmetic operation. This is using here two operands A and B. And the second case also using A and B. Since it is using two operators, this is called as here a binary operation. Or it is a binary operator. Plus is a binary operator. And the operator is used in between the two variables. So this concept is called as infix notation. We call this as infix notation. Between the two operands, when you use the operator, this is called as here infix notation. There are certain languages they use actually prefix or postfix. You can go with the plus and followed by a comma b you give. So this is called as exactly what prefix. You can go here, you can type a, b, followed by plus you can put, this is called as here postfix notation. This is infix notation, this is prefix notation, and this is what here exactly postfix notation. And this is using here two operands. Just 1 minute. So when I run this, now what happens? Just see here. It is printing 5 on the top. Okay, because you see here add numbers 2, 3, and here you can put like this. Now I want to use a template string. A template string you can put in the like this is called as a backtick. It's a symbol backtick. It is called just below the escape key. You can put that. And here I can embed within that some variables. So variables I can embed inside this. What I do here, I can go with the, okay. So here instead of passing instead of putting here, I just want to keep here. After this one, I want to show that. Not even there. So here, after this, I want to show that. Console dot log here. Okay, now X and Y I want to embed within this. For that purpose, I can use here backtick followed by here X. Okay, then I can close this, then go with the plus symbol here. I go with the Y. Then after that, this equal to, I can put here equal to. Then here, one more thing I can use, then put D inside this, close it. Close the backtick. That means within the string, we are substituting the values. So what it should print for us now? 20 plus 30 equal to 50. It has to print for us. Just run this and see what it prints. It's printing actually X plus Y equal to D only. It's not printing actually the value in that case. X equal to 20 I have taken, Y equal to 30 I have taken. Okay, so here in this, I just want to print this particular thing. I just put here a dollar symbol before this, then try to print this now. Okay, just trying to print here. It's giving actually dollar is not defined. It says here. Okay, so just let me put a dollar symbol before this, and here also try to use here a dollar symbol. Then here also try to put here another dollar symbol. Just let me now print this particular thing. Now it is printing actually 20 plus 30 equal to 50. So this is called as a template string. Before the variable name, you can use a dollar, and with that, you can actually substitute the value here. Whatever value you have here, you're substituting here. With console.log, this is a template string, a dollar, then in the curly brackets, you put the X, plus symbol, then dollar, in the curly brackets, put Y here, and equal to dollar, and you put D here. So using template string, within the string, you are actually substituting the values X and Y. Okay, X and Y, we are substituting. So this is called as here a template string. Here we are simply printing we are printing actually console.log 5 we are printing, but in this case, like a full expression we are printing. So when you write there 20 plus 30 equal to 50, like this is getting printed. So once again, if you run here, you can clearly see 20 plus 30 equal to 50, it is printing for us. So this is called as here template string. JavaScript actually in bits and pieces only, always we have, okay, like functions only we have to write, and we need to invoke functions. And I request you to note down this point, what is template string. Further, you need to do some R&D on this, or then you need to understand clearly, you have to Google it and you need to find more information on that. Okay, so therefore, this is called as here a template string. With the help of the template string, I'm submitting this value here. So using console.log, I'm printing on the screen. Add numbers 2, 3. This is printing actually 5. And here, when I go with this 20 plus 30 equal to 50, it is printing. So this is a template string. For that purpose, I can use a backtick key. So backtick is basically what, just below the escape key, you have tilde, and just below tilde symbol only, and the same key, you have 2 characters. One is tilde. Second thing is what here, backtick. To use uppercase character, the character which is on the top, you have to use shift key, and to use actually the character which is below on the same key, in that case, without shift key, you have to press the key. In that case, that gets printed. So this is here backtick. It's not a single quote, this is a backtick. It's nothing but actually backtick. Backtick is used with many of the things actually. So whenever you create automatically from the script some table, in the MySQL or in the PostgreSQL, automatically it's going to add to the backtick for that. To that string, it's going to be adding automatically backtick. So using backtick, you can actually substitute values of the variables in the given string. So here in this case, we are adding 2 numbers. Next thing is what, multiplication. Let us see here how the multiplication works for us. So after welcome to JavaScript, here I go with this, then I put a multiplication symbol here, X I put. Okay, but here I have to go with, instead of now going with actually D like this here, I can multiply here in this case X multiplied with the Y here. Okay, what result now we get? See in this. It says now 20 multiplied with 30 equal to 600. Result you are getting as 600. So this is exactly what it is, a arithmetic operation. It's nothing but arithmetic operation. So with the help of that, you can perform arithmetic operations. Okay. Now here what I do, when I render this, I have something like this in the web browser. Okay. In the bottom of the screen, I want to create here two variables. Into the variables, I want to enter data. Upon clicking on button, it should calculate result and should give me the result on the screen. Okay, so for that purpose, what I do, I can come to this point here. Then let me declare here two variables here. Another div I take here, div. I don't use any style here. So just inside this, I'll go with the, okay, whether bootstrap I can use in this or not. Let me see here. There is no bootstrap. I cannot use any bootstrap. So therefore here, I just go with the div tag. Okay, in the div tag, I specify here inside this first number. Okay, then here it is input type equal to text, ID equal to FN. It's nothing but first number. Okay, then here write value equal to, put some 0. Initial value, I'm going to put it as here 0. Then I go with ampersand NBSP. That means what space I'm giving here, NBSP again. Then here second number. Then I go here type input type equal to text. Okay, then ID equal to SN. Okay, then value here also I take it as 0. Value equal to 0 I take. Then I just end this here. In the next line, I keep here two buttons. Okay, first thing is here what? Span ID equal to, I put some result. Span ID equal to result. This one here, I don't put any text inside that. Next here it is input. Instead of using input, I can go with the button. Okay, then this is here on click. On click, I should be calling actually some method. Okay, I need to call actually some method, add numbers. Okay, I'm going to call that particular thing. Then here I'll write this as add. Similarly, I go here with the ampersand NBSP. Then once again, I go here with the ampersand NBSP. Okay, then here in this, go with the button. On click equal to here. Multiply numbers. Put like this. Then here, multiply. Okay, so these you find on the HTML page. On the HTML page, we find when we render how they look. See first. When we come to the bottom, there are two buttons. One is what add. This is what multiply. So A is added in this case. I just remove that A. Then here, go to the M here. When you click on that multiply, so that should be getting multiplied for us. Okay. So here I have add numbers. Second thing is what here? Multiply numbers. Now instead of passing any values here, what I do, I can just remove this here. Add numbers I remove. Similarly, multiply numbers also I remove here in this case. I'm going to get actually them with this now. So this part of code will not work now since I'm modifying it. Here I just put a comment and like this here. Even this also will not be working for us because I'm modifying the functions. Now inside the function, inside this function, what I can do, I don't even return any value. Rather returning value, I want to assign into these particular input elements. Not input element, into the span result I want to get. In this, I want to embed that. In this area, I would like to embed. Upon clicking on actually add numbers. So first, what I should do, I should be filling data in these. Okay, then when I click on the add, what should happen? It should add those two things and should give the result in the span. Now, let us try to do that. So first of all, the function name is what here? Add numbers I have here. In the case of add numbers, I should be retrieving first of all the required values. Here, right? I can go here with the var. Okay, num1 equal to, I should be retrieving from the fn. Fn meaning is what here? First number. So document dot get element by id. I specify here the id. So what is the id exactly? Fn is the id followed by I take here value. I can take like this. Similarly, where num2 equal to here, I go with the document dot get element by id. Here it is again. Okay, and I go here with the sn. Sn value I would like to retrieve here, then dot value. I am using here values from two different variables. On the user interface, have two inputs actually. First is fn first number, second thing is second number. I want to print result and I want to put inside the result in the span area. So right here, document dot get element by id. Now here, what is the name of that? It is result. And then dot here, write value or not value. This is inner text. I should use here inner text property. With the help of that, I should be adding them. So what I write here, num1 plus num2. So what result we expect in this case now? Okay, so let me run this once again and come to bottom. I enter here some 12, then enter some 34. When I click on the add, it is printing 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not printing actually, 46 for us. Instead of printing 46, it's printing 1, 2, 3, 4. Reason, this is what string. Inside that, whatever you have is the string. You can see what type of data that is. Okay, so come here, then try to go with this console.log. Here, type actually the num1 followed by right here, this one type of what type of data this is. Let us print num1. So this is going to be what type of data? It is actually here string type of data we should get. Here also see here num2. Okay, num2 we take, similarly num2 this is here. So what type of data it prints? Let us see in that. Okay, so come here, then come to the bottom of the screen, enter here again 12, then this is 35, I enter, click on the add. In such case, if you go to console, okay, so more tools, developer tools, in the console, if you see what it says, 12 string, second thing is undefined, it is saying. So why undefined? That is why it is actually undefined. Num2 so far I haven't taken, that's why it is saying as undefined. If you see here, there is no variable associated with that. So that's why it is giving error. Now here go with the num2 variable as well here. Num2 we take here, we define, but after this we have, okay, already defined. Take this console.log2 num2. Then after this, let us try to put here what it prints now. See in this. Refresh this here. Okay, come to the bottom of the screen, then enter 4 and enter here in this case 7. Click on the add. Both of them are nothing but strings only. Both of them are strings. Though you entered your digits, it is showing like a string only. Whenever you enter something in the input type equal to text, automatically that will be treated as text. So this you have to convert into number format. Okay, so for that purpose, you have to now here go with the parse int. I go here with this parse int. It is converting it into integer. Okay, again here I go with the parse int. Okay, then here num2. What result you get now? Check in this case. So refresh this here. Enter here like 5 and next thing is here 6. What is the result you see? It is this time printing as 11. But there is going to be a problem with this. Suppose I type here A. Now I click on the add. So it is printing here NaN. NaN meaning is what? It's not a number. I'm trying to convert here this A into a number with the help of this. So it is not a number. Num1 is not a number actually. So therefore it's giving error in this case. A cannot be converted to a integer there because A is a alphabet. It's not any digit. If it is digit, you can convert. Since it is actually alphabet, so you cannot do anything in such cases. Okay, you cannot do anything in such cases. So therefore, it is actually giving error in such cases for us. So it is what exactly? Num1. Okay, you have here num1. Num1 equal to what exactly? It is A here. So since it is A, it is unable to convert. You are not getting exactly correct result. So you are not getting correct result in this case. But what result you get actually? NaN you are getting. Okay, you are printing it as actually NaN because first of all, it is unable to convert the given alphabet into a number. So in such case, it gives actually NaN. When you try to add NaN with any other thing, it's going to give you ultimately NaN. NaN meaning is what here? Not a number. Okay, so like this also there are certain intricacies. You have to be aware of those things. Accordingly, when you write code, then everything will work fine. Internally, understanding intricacies is very important. Okay, so what exactly is happening inside that? If you know that, then definitely you can write better code. Okay, so your code also going to look like professional. So inside that, what is happening every time you need to understand. Otherwise, all of a sudden you face problems. So here, what is happening? When you enter something, it's going to be treated like text only. We need to convert it to text. But in the conversion also, you have a problem in such cases. You face a problem, even in the case of this conversion also. Okay, so you should be avoiding in such case. So therefore, what you write here, in this case, you can write in this manner. You can go with some if condition. Okay, then here, what you do, you can write in this manner, if right here, like is nan, followed by, you can give the A, it is what exactly? Num1. Okay, or operator, this is nan. Then this is here what? Num2. So in such case, you need to go with alert. Alert, then say here, okay, either num1 or num2 cannot be converted to numbers. Okay, so else what we do? Else you'll be going with this part here. This is nothing but actually else part. So whenever first one is either not a number or second thing is not a number, in such case you print it. Otherwise, it's going to print this particular thing. So just come here and again go with this. Then in this case, enter here. This one has some 12. Then enter here 45. You get result. What it's saying in this case is nan is not defined. It is case sensitive. So when we go here, it should be uppercase N. Okay, that was the reason it was giving error. Come here, then try to enter again. Here some data. So go with here like 12. Then here it is 45. Try to see here, you are getting 57. Here go with A in this case, click on the add. It says either num1 or num2 cannot be converted to number. So it is going to be giving that kind of message for us. You can use such functions actually like isNaN with the help of that, whether the given, Identifier is giving a number value or some other type of value, whether it can be converted to number or not, you can identify. Based on that, you can do it. So whenever you go with here, here, whenever you enter A, it's not a number type, therefore it will not come to this point here. It's going to just display this alert message. Either the first one or second one is not a number. What happens? It's going to be giving this, it's going to trigger this alert message. Otherwise, it comes to this point and it can convert into number and it can add the numbers and give the result. So like this, you can be using the JavaScript. You can use actually JavaScript. So JavaScript is going to be very important in this case. Okay, because you write front-end code using JavaScript. Most of the time you write front-end code with the help of the JavaScript. So without JavaScript, you cannot go ahead actually. JavaScript is very important. JavaScript and TypeScript both are going to be very, very important for you to develop front ends. Also along with the bootstraps. Bootstrap is also very important because that's for the designing purpose. Okay, for designing purpose, you use the bootstrap. And in the given videos also, I gave some introduction regarding JavaScript. You can go through that and you can actually, understand more and more about it. Okay, so many are requesting actually, many they are not joining through the Zoom, through some other mechanism they are joining actually. They are requesting to go very slow. Because of that, we are going little slow actually. Okay, they are trying to grasp things. Once they understand things, once they grasp things actually, we can go very fast. Fast in the sense, as we, planned with that pace actually, will be continuing. Okay, so just this is an introduction to JavaScript, how to define a function, how to print certain things, I have shown you here. Further tomorrow we continue.